Welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. I'm Liza, and we are going to get started on painting our new photo this week, and I'm really excited to do this with you. So if you are going to be joining in with me, I will go through what supplies you'll need for today, and we'll talk through a little bit on how we're going to be approaching recreating this photo on canvas. So first off, welcome to anyone who hasn't joined before. The way this works is every Saturday on this page, I'll post 3 options for everyone to vote on. And the one that has the most votes by the following Tuesday at noon is the one that is declared the winner. And that's the one that I paint live for you here on Facebook on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I've never painted this before. This will be my first time doing it. So it's kind of like almost like a book club where we all have like the same reference material and then we all paint together. And I talk you through my process on how I would go about recreating it on canvas. So this is definitely an open space. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas the way you would like to recreate it, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I definitely would love to hear that, and I'd love to see your works as well. So if you're joining in with me, please snap a picture of your painting when you're done and share it with everyone. It's always nice to see everyone's finished works, and I love it. It's so fun. When you look back at some of the other ones we've done, you'll see some really cool spins, and everyone has like their own kind of vibe or technique, or sometimes people try something totally different. So it's really nice to see that. So for this week, we are doing, this is the one that won. So this is a nice close-up of like a dandelion. That's nice right in the front there. But there's a lot of really nice texture that's in this painting, or sorry, in this photo that we'll be able to recreate, have fun with in paint. So a few things that really stand out to me are I love how I can see these like rays of the sun coming through the clouds. So I really want to capture that in some capacity. I love the texture of the bark on the tree. And I've always loved this. From one of my first paintings I did when I was a teenager, it was like a giant tree, and I fell in love with trying to capture the bark and just the intricacy and how you can really just make it feel like it comes alive. So I'm really excited to do that. And then you just have like all the grass in the front, and then you obviously have the dandelion right there, kind of like in a bit of a dark patch, and it kind of stands out. So I'm really excited for this. This photo was taken by Michael Lyon. So he's a photographer based out of Burlington, Ontario, and a friend of mine. And he has so graciously allowed me to use his photographs over the past almost 3 months now, so we can paint from. So I really want to do a special shout out and thank you to Mike for letting me use his images and letting us all use his images to paint from. On his site, which is linked in the comments there, he has tons of beautiful photos, so definitely feel free to take a look and get inspired if there's anything else that might make you feel creative to paint. Or if you'd like to just purchase one of his photos, of course, feel free as well. All right, so we're going to be doing that. So again, this is a free party, so if you're watching me, you're all good to go. If you did want to leave a tip, there is a link there for Buy Me a Coffee, so you can go ahead. I'm always drinking coffee when I'm doing my parties. So if you would like to, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to at all. And if you'd like to host your own paint parties as well, feel free to message me. I do have a website already, which is very exciting. I haven't like officially launched it, although it is live on the internet. So if you go to lisaspaintingparties.com, that's my website, and it'll have pricing for like virtual events and also for in-person events if you're in the Greater Toronto area. And yeah, so I'm really excited, but you'll see that coming out on my page soon of the launch of the official launch of the webpage. So that's very exciting. So yeah, so if you feel you'd like doing that, feel free to do that. And besides that, I guess we'll get started. So let's talk first about supplies. Oh, hi Kim. How are you? I'm glad you're joining. Oh, look, all the comments. I missed some of these comments. Hi Jean. Oh, fantastic. Oh, I'm fading in and out. That's not fantastic. That's not good. Am I fading like my voice is fading in and out? Like you can't capture what I'm saying, or is it the video? If you can let me know, that'd be really great. Hi, Joe. Normally you join in a little bit later when I've already like started painting quite a bit. So I'm glad that you tuned in a bit earlier today. That's fantastic. Okay, great. So we're going to be jumping in to do this shortly. I'm going to run through my supplies are so that you can use it. But again, I really encourage you to have fun and use whatever you have. So I use a 11 by 14 canvas board. So this is like a basically a very thick piece of cardboard that has this canvas like overlay on it. There's like plus and minuses to using these. The biggest plus is that it's very convenient for me to store because I do like to keep everything I've done. So it's convenient. Also in the back, you can't really see it too much, but I do have them like stuck onto the wall, like a lot of my previous paintings. You can kind of see them. I'll move it up a little bit. So all of my, well, not all of them, but a bunch of them are on the wall. So it's really easy for me to throw some Velcro and like put them up and then change them up whenever I so desire. So I really like the canvas boards for that. They're also good to like stick in like a frame. However, I do find when you actually use a regular canvas, so you actually have a stretched canvas, I do prefer the way it feels when you're painting. So this is definitely not my preference, but in terms of space saving, it's all good to go. Oh, you both have a cold. I'm so sorry to hear. I hope you feel better soon, Joe, and your daughter. That really sucks. I find that's happening a lot more now, too, now that all the kids are back in school and just like no one's seen each other for so long. So now it's like, is it COVID or is it just like that we haven't seen each other and our immune systems are all pretty bad? So I'm sorry to hear that. A lot of people have been feeling kind of under the weather, so that sucks. Okay, so that's the canvas there. So we have the canvas board. Besides that, I use acrylic paint. So I use paints that I get from the Dollarama. And essentially, if you have, oh, I don't have that one in my front. Let's do that, just so we have that. So if you have your primary colors, your red, blue, and yellow, and you have black and white, you can mix anything else from that. So I always try to keep in mind anyone who may not have or might have to be tight on funds, because I'm tight on funds on things. So if you want to invest on getting your primary colors and a white and a black, you can make everything else from there. However, if you're going cheapo like I am with Dollarama, you can get a bunch of pre-mixed colors as well. So there are some, I have some green as well that I might tap into. This one's like a hunter green. There are some lighter ones as well, but I'm going to probably be using that if I decide to type it in that way, but I'll talk you through how to mix the colors as we go. With that, we also have the palette that I pop all my paint on and we paint from. I often, again, for anyone who hasn't joined me before, I do end up mixing a lot of paint like right on my canvas. I don't really do a lot of let's mix the color we want and then use that. I kind of just go with what happens on the canvas. But you feel free to do whatever you're comfortable with. I have a couple of containers with water. Acrylic is water-based, so that's what we need for our backup supply and help to get the paint off our brushes. And then I suggest having at least 3 sizes of brushes. A nice large one. This is a nice flat rounded brush. This is a size 10. I have this one, which is like a medium size. It's also a flat, more square brush. This one's a size 2. And then I have this brush, which looks pretty fuzzy right now, but this is my fine point. It's a 4, but it does actually create quite a fine point. So I just like to have at least these 3 sizes, like a medium, a large, and a fine point, so then you can kind of do whatever you need from there. Again, at the Dollarama, they have some really nice packs for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 brushes, and they're actually quite good. So there's something that you can just grab if you need to get some. And also paper towel is my last supply that I have. Okay, sounds good. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you're joining from Texas. Oh, that's so cool. From England, Michael. Hey, I remember you joining before. How are you doing? And you're in England. That's fantastic. All the way across the water or across the pond. I'm not good at that, but all right. I try to be cool, but anyways. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? I'm going to do that here. Hi, Kristen in Ohio. Nice. That's so cool. A lot of our American friends are joining. Fantastic. Very nice, Michael. I love it. I changed my setup a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see everything a little bit better. Oh, there's a bit of glare, I know, from that. So also what I suggest as well The video is jumping. So you're having trouble with my video too, Kristen. That's not good. I don't know why. What's happening? From what I can tell, I'm not seeing any issues, but that, you know, doesn't mean there aren't any of you guys are experiencing them. So I'm not sure what's happening. I'll keep an eye on it and see, and hopefully it sorts itself out. But technology's fun that way. At the same time, there was a whole outage that happened this week, right? So who knows? Hopefully that doesn't happen while we're painting or anything. All right. Okay. So I suggest if you go to yesterday's post for the winning post, you'll see a picture, this picture. And so what I suggest doing is just to grab that picture and have that available for you as reference as we start to paint. I will have this beside, but it's a little tricky and you will get glare because my lighting is not the best. It's lamps that I have around here to make sure you can see me and see the thing as best as you can. That would be what I would suggest. So then you actually have that available to you, and then the detail will come up more in that. So use that as reference as we go, but I will keep that here and we'll talk as we go from there. Oh, you have some bad weather there. That could be, yeah, that makes sense. And it's okay here. Oh, that's it. Okay. So England's fine with my broadcast, but my closer neighbors in the States, not so much. All right. Okay. So thank you guys for letting me know. I appreciate that. I'll keep an eye on the comments as well. So if you have anything or you want to jump in, say whatever you'd like to say, feel free to do so there. And I'll watch for that as we go. And again, I do encourage all of you to, like, if you want to answer or if you have a tip or trick, feel free to jump in and say that as well. Okay? So before I start, I'm going to just pop my hair up so it doesn't get in my way. And the first thing I'm going to start to work on is whatever is furthest back in the painting, or the photo, I should say, will be the painting, which will be the beautiful sky here. Now, a couple things with the sky. So again, this is our reference. You can try to be as accurate as possible. You can go your own way and do whatever you so desire. I'm going to do a kind of a mix of the two. Like I like the cloud happening, but I don't know, I might want it to be more blue instead of like this kind of like gray and like white kind of brightness in it. And I feel like on my iPad it never like shows the image like as nicely as it does from what I show you on Facebook. So I'm not as much of a fan of the way it looks right there. But we'll play with that a little bit. So I think what I'm going to start with is on my palette, let's start with some blue, some white, and a little dab of black. Let's go that route. The blue that I have from our Crafters acrylic paint is peacock blue. And again, I like it. It's kind of more of a medium blue. There is one called Copenhagen blue that I like quite a bit, but it has more of like it's a bit like, I don't know, almost like more gray. Not gray, but it's a little like darker in that way. I do like this one a lot for skies, and I like the way when it mixes with white, it kind of gets more of a baby blue. I'm going to get quite a bit of white on my palette too. I already am pinning paint on my fingers, of course. It's one of those days. All right, and I'm going to put a little bit of black. So that's kind of the amounts that I have so far on there, so not a heck of a lot. And we'll kind of go from there. Okay, so I want to think about where I want these things to be. So for some of you, you might want to actually sketch out to get an idea of where all the elements are going to be. So it might be helpful to say, okay, I want my tree, you know, to be about like a third or a little bit less than a third of like my canvas. You kind of say, okay, the tree's going to kind of be about there more or less. And then the sky, if we look at it, okay, so in the picture, the sky doesn't go right to the like middle of it. It goes a little bit higher than that, but the like horizon line is essentially kind of in the middle, right? So our horizon kind of sits here. So I maybe do want to keep my sky almost to where the horizon is, right? So I'm going to make my sky in this area here. This will just help so I don't have to paint the entire thing in blue. I can kind of like focus, but I want to make sure that I paint enough that it goes behind the other things that I'm going to be adding to my picture. I know it sounds obvious, but that's what I do here. Okay, so first things first is I want to start playing a little bit with this. I'm going to use my big brush, so my number 10 flat. I think, I don't know, I kind of want to go that route, but I kind of want to try something different. Okay, I'm going to start off by just getting some water, and I'm going to just wet my canvas with just water of where I want my sky to live. And I do this when I start, just to kind of, whenever it's blank, I find that I need to like get paint down on the canvas to start. Just like when you write and it's like a blank page, you just have to start writing. That's always how I feel when I start. So I want to start by just putting the water on, and then I'm going to put kind of like a base so I can build off of that for my sky before I start getting more detailed as to the clouds and how I want them to feel, or if I want clouds. I don't even know yet, but maybe just making more of a blue sky versus the heavy clouds that are there. So I'm going to start with just some blue. I'm just going to pop it in like that. And then I'm going to get white, and I'm just going to start blending it out, but I'm using my white, quite a bit of white, to blend it. And I'm going past those very simple pencil lines that I've made. I'm going to try not to paint my iPad today. Although I must say it is pretty easy to clean the paint off once it dries. Okay, so I just have a nice base color. I started with the streakiness, but I do think I want it more flat, like. Okay. All right, so now that it's wet, I want to play a little bit, and I think I want to, I'm going to try and play with these clouds. So I'm going to get a little bit of black, and I just touch it into my white to get a bit of a gray going. And this is pretty heavy, so I'm just going to start kind of putting in where I want this gray cloud to live. And it's all wet, so it is going to blend a lot into my wet paint. So I just kind of put in where I want that cloud to be. And then there's like more here. So I'm just dabbing it in, just kind of like, again, I don't know if I want to keep that or not. I'm going to just play with it a little bit. Looks like a weird like bird wing that I've just made. That's not really what I want. All right, get some more white in here. Let's get more dents in here. Okay. Getting some white just to, I don't know if I like those lines that I created before. But I'm just kind of layering on the wet paint. It's giving kind of like a cloudy vibe to it, and I'm digging it. Certain aspects I'm digging, and other aspects I'm still mixed on. I don't know if I'm fully sold on it yet. I want to make it a little bit more blue because I feel like I've lost some of that in here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue on my wet paint. Just feeling of like rays coming out, even though we haven't put that in yet. Okay. Putting a bit more white on top in some areas. So I'm basically just playing around a little bit. I'm just playing with the color and going back and forth and getting kind of a different vibes happening. Definitely need to get more white up here. It's very bright and white up here. That line was a little too harsh that I made initially, so I just want to soften that a bit. I have to go over that when it's more dry, just so I keep the integrity of the white. Because when it's wet, it all kind of like blends together, and whatever color you use, it ends up getting a little lost in it. I'm putting a bit more white, and just blending it down a bit. It's pretty dark. Oh, thank you, Lori. I'm so glad. It looks like super, yeah, I feel like the color like on what you see, like it looks almost like a turquoise blue or something on the screen, and it definitely is not. It's very different. So please grab a picture of the picture from yesterday's post and use that as inspiration, because like if you're looking at it right now from the screen, you're like you're using the wrong colors. But it's not showing up that way here. Okay. Okay, what do I want to move to? I think I want to get a medium brush and I want to continue building it a bit more. So I want to put in a bit more white. So I'm just using a smaller, like a more medium brush, just to put in a bit more of this bright white that is living in some of these spots. So I'm just grabbing like a bunch of the paint and then I'm just dabbing it in some of the areas just to create a bit more texture and to get some of the really bright spots in the sky show up a little bit better. Trying to be a little bit more free in my style. So I'm pushing myself a little bit on this one to be a bit more like abstract and playful. So hopefully it turns out well. We'll see what happens. Someone had mentioned like it'd be cool to do something more surrealistic. That would be really neat. I feel like intimidated almost by doing something else. I don't really, I know I've been doing this for a while and I enjoy, and I'm happy that you guys enjoy painting along with me, but I do not consider myself like a proper artist in any way. So to hear that, I'm like, that'd be cool if I could pull it off. So, but I really do enjoy painting, and I'm really glad you're deciding to spend your time with me. But that's why I'm very open to any suggestions, or if you have any things that have been working really nicely for you, please share. Am I anywhere near Prince Edward Island? No, I'm not. I'm in Ontario, so that's a long while away. Like I would definitely want to fly there. I think it'd probably take, I'm not 100% sure, but I think about 2 hours flight, an hour and a half. No, hour and a half is like Montreal, so it must be 2 to 3 hours flight, I think, from Ontario. No, I'm like close to Toronto, Ontario, like half an hour away from Toronto. That's where I grew up, but then I had to move out of the area because I could not afford to buy a house there. And I'm lucky I was able to buy a house where I did buy it when I bought it. I know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling that way all over the place, but particularly I know in Toronto it's been crazy, crazy, crazy prices. So I'm just kind of trying to dab in a bit more of this happening. Get more of this white brightness happening here. If I want to start putting that in or if I want to get it lighter still. Kind of do want to make it a bit brighter blue. I don't know. I'm not really digging how gray it is. Maybe I will grab my turquoise and go nuts. I'm just going to put in a little bit more blue. I want to get some of this streakiness happening. Okay, give me that white. I'm going to pull down some of this. Just trying to get a lot of white on my brush because it's disappearing very quickly. Okay. So just with white, I'm just dragging it out a little bit. It's still pretty wet, so it's still blending quite a bit into the background, so it's not just like a pure streak of white, but it's getting a good vibe. Oh, do you? That's fantastic. Mike was just saying that he has an aunt that lives out here, or out, sorry, in Prince Edward Island. I'd love to visit PEI. Be very cool. There's a girl I work with actually who lives out there on the island, so it's neat. So add a little bit of some darker areas here. So I'm just putting a little bit of blue in just to play a little bit. All right, it's a little different. We'll see how it goes. A lot of paint on the top here, not so good. That's very amateur How dare I? Okay. Not cool. You know what? I'm gonna have fun with it. So there we go. I think with it dries, I might go back and put a bit more white in it, just in case it's a bit too gray. But I think I'm good with it for now. I always do that. I'm always like, oh, I think it's good. And then I go back and touch it more. Because I can't help myself. That's fine. Okay, cool. All right. So we have captured a bit of what's happening in the sky, which is cool. So the next thing I want to put in is I want to get that like blurry kind of tree line to happen in the background. So another neat thing I like about this is the background has a blur to it, and then you have everything more in the foreground a lot crisper, and you see a lot more of the details that way. So I like that. So I'm going to try to do something similar to that too, where it's kind of just more of like almost like a silhouette or more of just a bit blurry. So you might have like some elements of some color, but it's not like here's a tree, here's a tree, here's a tree. It's just like the idea of like a bunch of trees in the background. And same thing with the grass in the back until it comes up to the front. So what I want to work on now is this back part here and then that piece of land that lives there. So what I want to do is, if you are using your primary colors, you want to mix your blue and your yellow together so you get a green. And then depending on, again, the blue and the yellow that you're using, you might want to either put a little bit more of either one color if you're trying to get a certain value of it happening, or you can always grab a pre-mix one if you have. I would try to lighten the green with the yellow to make it a bit lighter, because if you put white in it, it's okay, but it looks a bit more, I feel like the natural color likes it to be lightened with the yellow, so it looks more realistic that way. So I'm going to add some yellow to my palette. And I am going to add a little bit of my pre-mixed hunter green, just in case I want to dip into that a bit, but I don't know if I will just yet. All right, so which one am I going to go with? Am I doing my medium brush? Probably. Let's see how that goes. Okay, yes, let's do that. Okay, so how do I want to start this off? So firstly, I want to put in where I want my horizon line to kind of sit. So I'm gonna say like about here. So I'm just going to kind of goes down a bit, so maybe a bit higher. Going to pop that in so I can build from there. Okay, cool. I think I'm good with that. I might have wanted it a bit lower. No, I think that's good. Okay. Now let's put in some of these. Just going to mix my yellow and my blue to get the green. Okay, so let's start putting some in here. So I'm just gonna make it look, using my brush, just like that, using like the side of my brush to kind of create some tips essentially, and I'm just doing it kind of willy-nilly just to capture that feeling of like a bunch of trees in the background. So I'm not going to stress too much about how it looks. It's just going to kind of be as it is. Ah, that white. There's white from the sky. It's going in my trees, which is logical because everything's still wet. It's a little bit lighter in that area. That's fine. All right. So now I just want to add a little bit of shadow and a little bit of highlight to some of them. So I'm going to get a little bit of the yellow. And I'm just going to, no, I need more yellow because everything's wet. And I'm going to dab a little bit on the tops of some of the trees that I've just put in place. Okay. And then maybe a little bit more kind of randomly. And then I'm going to get a bit darker. So I'm going to get a bit of black, a little bit of black into my green. Get it darker, and then I'm going to make it a little darker in the front in some spots. Okay. Not going to worry about that line I initially made. I'll paint over it and fix it up and play with it afterwards. But I'm just gonna get it a little darker. Okay, and then I'm gonna just bring up a little bit of that darkness in some spots, just dabbing it a little bit. My tree line. Okay. I'm going to go back to my green. I'm just going to just add a little bit of that green back in. So I'm just playing with color to get this tree background looking like an impression of a bunch of trees happening without actually being specific. Like I want to get that color and that, so when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of trees back there, but it's not like you can tell exactly what's going on. Okay, so I have like a, I don't know if you can see that too well, but I've just put a nice little splay of color to get the vibe of some of the trees. And you can go more detailed if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it as it is. Okay, so now I want to, am I going to use this brush still? I have another brush that's also a medium brush, but it's a number, I think it's a number 6 or 4. No, it's a 4, that one's a 2. It's a little bigger, so it's going to give me a bit more coverage. So I want to start putting in this grassy area that's living there. So that green is a lighter green. So I want to get more yellow into the green that I mixed before. I don't know if I like that one too much. We'll see. We'll try it. Whatever. It's not permanent. We can always change it up. Okay, so let's put in, so this line, this land sits in front of this line here. Okay. I'm just going to put in this color. And we can play a little bit with the way it looks, but I want to keep it again pretty simple. Okay, so I think I like that, which should be all right. All right, so what do I want to do now? So I want to put in some areas a little bit darker. So I'm going to get my other green, get a little darker, and there's a little bit of some shadow happening like here, and there's a little bit, oop, it's so wet, so you have to keep getting more of the color you want on top. So I'm just going to put a few little lines in the grass to kind of show that there's something happening. There's something happening. Okay, and then I'm going to go get some yellow and do the same kind of thing just to make it a little bit lighter in some of the spots. Gotta be careful. I think I'm getting it a little bit to be watery vibes, which I don't think that's exactly what I want to do. Let it go a little splattery, I think. Get a bit more texture happening. Alright. I'm just gonna, not sure, just kind of like mess up my lines a little bit so they're not so straight. And it looks more like texture on this meadow that I've tried to create. I'm just dabbing lightly with my brush to try to have that texture come through it, and so it doesn't look so much like waves of water. I feel like I kind of went that route. Yeah, that's better. I think that's working nicely. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can put that closer so you can see a bit. So, it just has like a little bit of, doesn't feel as much like water. I guess it still kind of looks like water. It could still be water, I suppose. No, it's grass. We're fine. We're good. Okay. Now I'm just gonna rinse that brush off. And I know there's like some more bush stuff happening here. I don't know if I'm gonna do that one next or if I kind of want to put in this line of grass that's living here. I think I want to do that next. I'm not sure exactly how I want to approach that. I think I'm going to start with the darker areas, like the shadowy part in there. So what I see is, I'm just going to play with this and see what happens. I'm getting black, I'm getting the green, and I'm just going to dab a bit with my brush, and then I'll layer with some green after. Some of them are a bit higher if I'm not capturing that very well. Looking like a bunch more little trees happening. It's just going to be grass this time. I guess it all is kind of a mirror of each other, right? That's cool. Okay, I'm going to get my, I think my thinner brush to play a little bit, but I don't want it to be super detailed because, but at the same time, I think having little flicky strands is going to make it look better. Yeah, you know what? It is. All right, I am gonna just put a few little with my fine brush. We're just gonna go in and put in a few little lines. Okay. Yeah, that's working. That's working. I'm like, don't go too detailed, and I'm going way detailed. Put it more black, I think. Okay. All right, so I think that's looking alright. I'm gonna see if you guys can. Oop, I always do it the wrong way. I look in the camera. I don't know if you can see all the detail there, but then we have the little area of some grass. It's a little bit further away, but you can see it like that. So cute. Okay, so now it's coming together, coming alive. Oh, thank you, Kim. I wasn't like sure about them. I was like, let's just keep going and see what happens. But yeah, I'm starting to like them. So I definitely play them up quite significantly from like the original. So I was a little hesitant, but I'm glad with the way they turned out. Okay, so what is next? We are going to, I think I wanted to put in those trees that live a little bit closer to the foreground that are kind of back here that are still blurry, but they're in the background still. Okay, so let's play with that. So what are we looking at? Okay, so we have like one that's like here. There's like no paint on my paintbrush. Let's get some more paint on there, shall we? This is not a good color, but that's okay. We'll use that and then we'll change up as we need to. Okay, this big blob of. Ooh, that's a great idea, Kim. You can get more colors going and make it more like a fall scene. I love that idea. Ooh. I just hit myself in the face with my paintbrush. It's like, not the first time it's happened. But that's a really good idea. I'm just going to get some yellow. And I'm just going to dab in to start giving these bloppy green things that I put in here some shape of some sort. It's like, oh, what is it? Oh, a circular bush thing? Sure, that's what that is. A circular bush thing. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. Okay. Then I want to get a little bit darker to get some of the darker values in here. I'm going to go back to my green to blend it and hopefully pull it all together. Hopefully. We'll see. Maybe successful, maybe not. Still fun. regardless. Okay. All right, I'm digging it. Let's get my thin brush. Seeing there's like some branches or something happening too. Ooh, I feel like my paint was a little getting a bit too dry. And a little bit of okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing and get green back in. And just like mess those up a little bit. Because it'd always be like little, you can't just see them like perfectly straight from the background. It's supposed to be blurry. Like that's, needs to mess them up. Yeah, okay, there we go. I think I'm good with that. Let's just create a bit of a like shadow or something here. Okay, I think I'm good with that. You can see that. Oh, yes, yes or no? Yes, that's okay. It kind of has like some stuff going on. Go with the feeling. Go with the vibe. Sounds good. Okay. Oh yeah, and we also have this like branch here too. I don't want to forget about that because I think that looks really cool there. Kind of. Should I do that now? No, no. We'll wait. We'll wait. We'll wait till later. Oh, thanks guys. Really appreciate it. Okay. Now, where shall we go next? I think it's time to do the trunk of the tree because that would be the next thing that's in the background because we got to do all of this. The next part of the grass is all this front grass and we need to do that after we put in this nice trunk of this tree. All right, so this tree, super cool. It's like black, it's almost like a black and a gray that I'm seeing a lot of. I still want to put some brown in it, I think, but I think that makes the most sense to go with like a black. So I might start with, I don't want to start with black, but I think I am going to go with it. Oh, almost on cue. Okay. I think I'm going to use my number 4 medium brush to start drawing out where I want this tree to live. But I am going to try to make it like a grayish instead of a full-on black. I just feel like black is so harsh for now, but I don't know. The gray is going to feel too light, I think. Okay, so my tree is going to come down and I'm going to make it straight for now, but then I have to make it, no, I can't make it straight for now. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Okay, what am I doing? It's going to come out here, so it's about, and then it comes up. So it starts thinner, and it comes out thicker. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. Okay, so first step, as I usually do, is let's just get some paint on the canvas where we want that trunk to live. You agree with me, Michael. I like it. Start with gray. I agree. Yes. That's what I was thinking, and I am going to do that. It's so funny how I feel like my brain is so wired to think of things in certain colors that it's can be difficult to just paint what I see in front of me. So in my head, it's like tree trunks are brown. And so it's really hard for me to think of going with gray as like, does that make sense? Even though like it clearly is more gray. Which is funny. I have to fight what my brain is saying. Like my brain's like, why is it gray? That makes no sense. And of course there's different things. Like there's obviously birch trees and there's so many different types. But in my head I'm like, no. Trees are brown with green leaves. That's how they look. It's just funny. Okay. So I'm going to do this, but I'm going to just kind of let it dissipate somehow because we don't see the rest of it after that point. Okay. That looks like a good trunk. Okay, now I want to put in some variation. So what do I want to do? I want to play with white. I want to play with black. And we're just going to have some fun. So I'm going to start with black, I think, for now. And I'm just going to let my brush kind of come down to create some kind of groove in the trunk. And there's another one maybe like up here. It's all wet, so again, you need to keep adding more paint, otherwise it kind of just disappears. Let's just play and add some interesting, or some very interesting lines in this guy. So yeah, so do your best not to think and just to try to emulate what you see. So if you see some black area, just let's paint that on where we think that would live. That's a very, very good point. Michael was just saying that black is easier to paint over gray, so it makes sense to have like a gray base and then you can go on top of it. Okay, so we have some interesting grooves here. I'm going to go back and probably put more black in afterwards, but for now, I'm feeling pretty good with that, I think. I don't know, I say that again and then I'm still constantly touching it, but I still want to, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make it a little bit darker in this area, actually. Okay, let's go with white-ish. Okay, now I want to I'm going very lightly. I don't want my lines to be like straight at all. I want them to be broken up a bit. And again, everything's still wet, so as my brush goes, it kind of grabs more of the color, and then it becomes gray. And that works out okay for me. Okay. I'm not so sure about that. But we're going to keep layering. That's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm just going to clean off that brush. By clean off, I just need to take like the excess paint off, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to go my thinner brush, I think. Maybe I'll just go with my medium size, but the one that's a little thinner, like a size 2. Let me play with that one first, and then I'll go with my fine brush after. Put some more black on there. Just going to add a little bit more. Now that I have a bit of this. Definitely darker in here, so I want to get that dark. Oh, this is definitely darker here too. I'll put on some more black up here, just so it stands out a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so now I want to go to my thinner brush. That is a fantastic idea, Kim. Kim's saying, what about a bit of burnt sienna in it? I think that would look really good. If you have that color, definitely use it. Like I said, my paints are my cheap dollar store paints. So I don't have that specifically. I do have a brown called Cinnamon Brown. So I might just add a little dollop of it on my palette and just play and touch a little bit. But I don't want to touch that much of it, I don't think. So I'm going to put a little bit and see what happens. And then if I don't like it, we'll change it up. I'm just going to put a little hints of it. My fine brush. This is a very stylized version of this tree. I'm digging it a lot. It's kind of giving me like Edward Munch, if that's how you say his name, kind of vibes, like the whole expression type of vibe. Like that painting of the scream, like it's all like very colorized and different lines. I kind of want to put like purple in here. That sounds very weird, but I think that might be neat. We'll see if I go that crazy. Okay, I want to get more gray happening. Dark gray. Yeah. That's not dark enough. Come on. Okay, pretty crazy. But that's what I have so far. Lots of lines. It almost looks like a cave, and that's not exactly what I was going for. So I need to make sure it's not so cave-like, because it doesn't really. Put a few little lines in here, I guess. Bring it up more, flat up to this, where it's yeah, that's a little bit. Okay, don't go away, we need you. Okay, so now I'm gonna get some more white, but not really, because it's a little bit of white. Trying to make sure it's not, again, super straight lines. I want to make it a little bit squiggly wiggly. I'm not sure about that. Dull them out a little bit. All right, I think I need to stop. Oh, good night, Michael. It is like a squirrel's cave, right? I guess it's not too bad. I mean, It's working. It's fine. It's fun. So there we go. So that's what I got so far. It looks kind of like a creepy, like a creepy vibe, but I really like it. It's very fun. Anyways, that's what I did with my tree. Do it or do your own thing. It's totally cool. All right. Where are we going next? Well, we have all this front area to do, and then we still have this branch. I think I want to pop in that branch now before I get into this bottom part. So let's do that. So I'm just going to get a very dark brown, almost black, to kind of get these branches that are living here. Pretty thin, so. Trying to keep it very thin. Okay. Hi, Jody. Oh, thank you so much for stopping in and saying hi. I really appreciate it. Hope everything was okay at the doctor's. Wishing you the best. And if you do paint along, definitely take a picture and let me see it. A few more little branches. Okay. I want to stop there with those branches. And then we're going to just put a few little leaves and stuff on there. Okay, how are we going to do that? I think I'm going to keep using this brush. Let's put some more green, mix some blue, and mix some yellow, and then you have some green. Okay, let's start with that, and then we can change up some of the. So I'm just going to dab little okay, and some of them don't even like touch the branch, but it's okay. Just to get that vibe of all these little so I'm trying to just use the tip of the brush to like create the little leaves itself. I'm letting the brush do the work for me. So you might have to just either like move your hand around a bit or flip over your canvas just so that you can let it do the work for you. What I mean is like it's a natural shape on this brush where it kind of creates like little leaves almost like nicely with the tip of the brush. So I'm just trying to move it around a little bit as I'm popping them on. Oh, you're seeing your surgeon on Monday. Well, that's good. I forget too. I was like, so we have Thanksgiving on Monday. I know you guys have it in like November. So I was very confused for a second. I was like, wait, what? Why are you going at Thanksgiving? Understood. Yes, us Canadians, you know, with our Thanksgiving in October. Well, I wish you all the best and I hope everything goes very well at your appointment. Okay, I need to do what? I need to change up this color a little bit because it's not exactly what I want anymore. Okay. I'm gonna get another like shade of green and like pop it in a few spots. Alright, so that's what I have. All these little leaves happening on this tree branch that's kind of hanging down on the side. It's kind of random. I feel like I don't know where that branch is coming from. Like I feel like it's supposed to come from like this tree, but now I feel like it's kind of random. So maybe I captured that a little bit weird, but it's all good. We'll go with that and see what happens. Oh shoot! Yeah, definitely let me know how it all goes, Jody. Oh my goodness. That's crazy, man. Oh, I'm so glad you do, Nancy. Thank you. All right. Now, yeah, I feel like I'm not like I like it in a way, but I definitely went too crazy up there and it definitely doesn't match that. Exactly. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. It still looks cool. Aren't we like the hardest on ourselves? It's kind of ridiculous, eh? I'm like, it's not exactly the way I wanted it to be. So silly. Anyways, it's not supposed to be. Let's just have fun. Okay. I have to remind myself of this too. Okay, so now we're going to work on the bottom here. And again, we want it to there's still a lot of area where you can't really see what's happening. And then you have like the green kind of coming out of that. So I want to capture that a bit. And so I think at this point, I think I want to build the darkness in this area and some of the green and then start to then build the specific little grass that's sprouting out everywhere. So I need to do what? I think I need more black on my palette. A little bit more. I do have those other colors, so we're all right. Am I going to use, which one am I going to use? No, I think I'm going to use my number 4, like my medium brush to do this part. I was going to use my big brush, but I thought, I don't think that's a good idea. All right, let's do it. Aw, thanks so much, Jody. That's really sweet. All right, yes. So let's pop in. Let's go nuts. Put some black on the canvas. Not sure what I'm doing right now. Not sure how it's going to turn out, but we're just going to go with it. And we're going to see what happens. But I'm seeing some darker spots, so I need to get this in here. Boy, I can't wait to do that dandelion. It's going to pop out so nice. Okay, I'll just get this in here. Let's get this on here. Okay, I'm going to get some green and start to like put in a little bit of green. I don't know what I'm doing right now. No, I know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to build, again, get paint on the canvas to build a bit of a layer so that when we put in all of our grass, none of the canvas background is going to be there. So I'm covering up all the white, essentially, of the canvas in black and in dark green so that when we start playing and putting all the details on top, you won't have a random spot that's going to pop up and show you and be like, oh, whoops, I didn't paint that section. I'm just getting the base of it on. Be a little cautious at the top there because I don't want to. That is way too light. Okay. Just gonna get this all going. There's still a little bit of canvas up here, but I'm gonna leave it for now and we'll play with that afterwards. Okay. Okay. Ground. We got the ground. Now we need to get some detail happening here. And how are we going to do that? Well, we need to get my thin brush and we're going to start to play with all of these blades of grass and start to have this happening. So I definitely want this green back. I need more white and probably a bit more yellow. Okay, cool. Now I want to, I'm just going to mix my green into my yellow a bit, so I just want to like make it a bit lighter. Okay. All right, so we're gonna just start popping in these blades of grass. They can be any which way we want them to live. And so go kind of all over the place as we go. Like I wouldn't just do one area. Because I find that once I continue going, sometimes the blades like change up, like the pressure of what I use. I'm going to try to bounce around a bit on the canvas. So we have kind of similar strokes all over the place. And it's not just like one area that looks one way. I do have to get in here. There's definitely little ones that are here. Oops, there we go. I keep going the wrong way. This is better if I go from down to up. Okay. So I'm trying just to do them very specifically so that I keep them as opaque as possible. Because if I start to go like willy-nilly, then they lose a little bit of the like tangibility of it. Like it kind of it doesn't have a solid of a line. And I think part of it is again using this canvas board. I find when I'm using like a regular canvas, it doesn't happen as often. So it definitely has something to do with that. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna keep putting little blades of grass all over the place. There seems to be some like little brown kind of ones on the side too. Okay, there you go. Alright, lots of grass. Going on, going on. Grassy, grassy, grassy. That one went weird. Oh my. Just going back with like yellow and then just putting a few like highlights, little blades with yellow. All right. Okay. Lots of blades of grass. So that's what we got there. And I'm leaving some spots dark like that too. Just gonna go in black, and I just want to put in a little bit of lines in black. Just to give a bit of contrast to some of the colors we just put in. Okay. All right. I like that. That's looking cool. Okay. So let's get that dandelion going. So how are we going to paint this guy? Good question. So I'm going to figure out where I want that stem. I think he's going to live like here. So like the stem is like kind of pops out of almost nowhere, as most weeds tend to do. Okay, and it looks like there's a bit of a highlight on this stem. Okay, and it's a little dark in here where it attaches. And then let's get my yellow. And there's a lot of black paint there, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. Just going to painted kind of similar to the way I've done almost all the components of this painting so far, which is just doing little strokes and utilizing the shape of the brush to kind of give me the texture that I want. And I think that guy looks kind of cute like that. Oh, that's a lot. Just need a little bit of white to try to get a bit of highlight because there's a little bit too much black going on in here. There we go. Just gonna add a few more little blades that are a little bit lighter for fun. Okay. Right, I think I'm good. Oh my goodness. Oh, Kim, I hope you're doing okay too. Back is crazy, man. Like anything that happens to your back, that's scary stuff. Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think the dandelion just makes it like pop. It really is interesting. It's an interesting focal point for so many things that are going on in this painting. So I really, really like it. Yeah, me too, Kim. I do love this. So I think I am calling it a wrap. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I'll bring it up a little closer again too so you can see the dandelion. So that's kind of that's all I did with it, and that's how all the grass looks. So I left some of the spaces still pretty dark, but I did put a little bit of black little lines in it just to have some more texture. I think that looks kind of cool. But there we go. Now I do notice like a bit of the sun strokes are going like in front of the tree. So I'm not going to do that. I'm worried about making it look kind of funky that way. So I'll leave it the way it is for now. But besides that, I think I'm pretty much good with it. I think I'm done. So yeah. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed painting along with me. If you did join me, please take a picture of your painting and share it because I'd love to check it out. And again, if you enjoyed this and you'd like to leave me a tip, there's a link there so you can do so. You can also reach out if you want to hold a private party or have any other type of event with your friends or anyone else. Let me know because I'd love to host that. We could do it over Zoom. We could actually talk to each other and I can see you and we can do that, which would be very cool. But that's about it for today. So I'll see you again next week and have a fantastic rest of your evening and great week. Bye, everyone. Take care.